Right, we've got the weather with Kay in a minute. One of the reasons that vinyl records have had a revival in recent years is because the record covers themselves can be works of art. You know this, of course. Think of the Beatles on the Abbey Road crossing, or that prism refracting the light on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Sometimes the covers can end up being even more famous than the music. Maybe not in those cases, but they can. Occasionally, though, the covers can be terrible. So a new exhibition at the Williamson Gallery in Birkenhead could be really interesting because it is all about awful album covers. And Ian Haslam has been for a look round.
It's the album list of sorts where you probably don't want to be top of the pops. Curator Niall has overseen this rogues gallery within the gallery.
Well, I've started here with one of my favourites so far from the exhibition, which is Lionel Blair's Aerobic Dancing. Quite a few sort of exercise records that are both amusing, terrible, but like Lionel Blair's, also just of their time.
He wasn't afraid to show a bit of thigh, was he, Lionel?
Absolutely not, and actually throughout the exhibition you can see people who are really very comfortable in their own skin.
Yes, some flesh has been flashed in an attempt to sell records.
This is quite an unusual exhibition for us. We're an art gallery, so we don't usually display record covers, although we're open to sort of all forms of art. This came from a collection assembled by Steve Goldman. Steve's been collecting the worst record covers he can find, anything that makes him laugh, for many years now. And we just felt that this is an exhibition that's been around music festivals, book fairs, but it really needed to come to an art gallery so people can sort of give it the sort of additional scrutiny that it needs.
There's so many albums here that catch my eye. For example, this one by Mike Adkins, Thank You for the Dove, in which this bloke, who looks a little bit like Decca, of Anson Deck, I think, is preparing to release a beautiful white dove. And look at this, two apparent lovers covering their modesty with lettuce leaves. Nothing says romance like lettuce. While at the other side of the gallery, admire Carlos.
It's not just slightly obscure names, though. The Greatest of All Time feature. This was a Beatles compilation released in America. The Stones' Dirty Work also makes the exhibition. Pet Sounds may be the most famous Beach Boys album, but it's not the best cover. And was this cover a bad idea by current music icon Olivia Rodrigo?
More than 500 album covers, but this is the one that started it all off, isn't it?
It's one that belonged to Steve Goldman, the collector, in the first instance, and then through like one thing or another, house moves, etc., he lost track of it, and then spent the next few years trying to track it down again, and then based off the back of that, made the decision to start collecting bad album covers. This is sort of a fun complement to the rest of the exhibitions programme, and it's something that everyone can get involved with, and it's very accessible and something that everyone can have an opinion on.
The exhibition runs until January 27th. Ian Haslam, BBC North West Tonight.
Some shockers in there, weren't there? Right, let's have a look at the weather. How's the weather looking?